It's early voting time. Gather around. I'm going to need you to share this video, right? I am sick and I literally have a sinus infection, and I am making this video because it's so important. I need you to tell people about this. I am in the battleground state of Arizona. It only took me like 26 hours to fill out my ballot because I had to do so much research. I was like, why is everyone saying this is the longest Arizona ballot in history? Here's our 50-page guidebook to guide us through all these ridiculous things that are on this ballot. Why? We might have a Democratic progressive governor in Katie Hobbs. Thanks, Kari Lake. And we might be about to have our second Democratic senator in Ruben Gallego. Thanks, Kari Lake. But this state is very much Republican and in a lot of cases MAGA controlled, right? Like our legislature. These are the same people who were praying and thanking God when the Pioneer AB ban went into effect on our legislative floor. These are the same people who were involved in the fake elector scheme and like filming themselves being fake electors. And posting it to YouTube. You know, I'm just giving you an idea of what's going on in our state legislature. We have some people who are, to put it nicely, not well. Now, the majority of the propositions on this unbelievably long ballot say things like, proposed amendment to the Arizona Constitution by the legislature. This is the Republican state legislature in Arizona trying to depower our Democratic governor and other institutions and make it harder for the citizens of Arizona to make changes to the Arizona Constitution. Like, here's an example. They're so upset about reproductive freedom being on the ballot. Yes, vote yes on Amendment 139 in Arizona and the other 9 states where reproductive freedom is on the ballot. That they have Proposition 134 on our ballot. Let me just read to you what the description. For a statewide ballot measure, like reproductive freedom, to qualify to appear on the ballot, signatures from a percentage of qualified electors in all 30 legislative districts would be required as follows: 10% for statewide initiatives, 15% for constitutional amendments, and 5% for statewide referendum. Meaning you can't get them all from the same legislative districts. Like, everyone in Arizona is concentrated in Maricopa County in these main legislative districts, and then the outskirts are more conservative, and they don't want us to be able to collect signatures in the most populated areas where people are liberal. So they're trying to make it harder to change the Arizona Constitution and protect women's bodily autonomy should the measure fail. Because I'm sure they have plans to contest it. And that's not the only proposition on here to contest. There's another one that says if a ballot measure is brought, to change the Arizona Constitution, prior to the ballot measure even being voted on, they can sue. That's literally in here. There's other things that limit the governor's emergency powers. They're trying to depower Katie Hobbs. Every proposition in here, except for 2, is basically about the Arizona Republican legislature trying to consolidate their power in a last desperate move and make it harder for the people's voices, the majority of people in Arizona, to be heard. That's what's going on here in Arizona. So I'm only telling you this to say, make sure you take the ballot seriously. For instance, in Arizona, we have dozens and dozens and dozens of judges on the ballot, right? And in Arizona, you can vote to retain them, right, when their terms are up, which is another proposition from our Republican-controlled legislature, to stop voting to retain judges, right, which is ridiculous. But these dozens of judges, the Republicans in Arizona are encouraging everyone to just vote to retain all of them, which who has time to look up every single judge, right, and decide what to do? Is there even information that can be found? Why would they want us to vote to retain all the judges? Well, I went through every single judge and looked them up. All but like 5 or 6 are Republican appointed judges, Republican governors appointed judges in Arizona, right? And they want everyone to just go down the list and vote to retain everyone, so our Democratic progressive governor, Katie Hobbs, cannot appoint any judges, right? I went through the whole list of current judges that are up. There's only like 5 or 6 that were ever appointed by a Democratic governor. We haven't had many Democratic governors, right? In Arizona. So they're saying retain all the judges so Katie Hobbs can appoint no one. So I suggest going through, looking up and voting not to retain every Republican judge. So that's what I did. But I'm just saying, like, please understand what's going on your ballot. If you're not sure, look up your legislative district, and a lot of them have like golden ticket ballots. That's what they call them, and recommendations if you're not understanding or can't find research about a candidate. That would be my suggestion. But these ballots are serious. It is early voting. Vote early. If you want the text messages, if you want the emails to stop, vote early. If you want to be able to track your ballot and make sure that it's been counted, vote early. This is a huge deal, right? A huge deal, particularly in the battleground state of Arizona.